I have the pleasure to be joined by Commonwealth Games gold and European gold medalist Delicious Orie. Delicious, pro debut April the 5th, Carp Live. Couldn't get any better, could it?
Man, what a big card as well, full of big heavyweights, and I'm just going to be part of them. Do you know, it was weird being on there actually, because I watch, I've seen a few press conferences over my time as a boxer, and it was just really strange actually being in it, so fantastic experience. And they say you've only got one pro debut, and what a way to start it.
Definitely as well. Is there any nerves getting into these new kind of press conferences? Obviously you said you watched a few of them, but being involved in them is a bit different, but also on the biggest stage as well. Is there any nerves going into these types of things?
Yeah, I would say there's a little bit. There's a bit of words. It's new. Something I'm not used to at all. So you want to get it right. It's really important I get it right. So there was a little bit nervous, but the thing for me is, I tell myself is, as long as I'm true to myself, I'm honest, I can never go wrong. So, and I believe I did that today. So as long as I'm true to myself, I'll be okay.
Definitely as well. Let's move on to April the 5th. I mean, long-awaited pro debut. You were doing the rounds. Like you said on the top table, you were meeting with everybody to make sure you made the right decision for yourself. I mean, why was Queensberry and Frank Warren the correct platform for you to shine on April the 5th?
So, like you were saying, I met a few promoters. For me, Queensberry have got a track record of building fighters, especially the heavyweights. Frank Warren knows what he's doing when it comes to making sure to get his fighters the right fights, to get them to the top. You can't rush greatness, and I'm all up for that. So, I was given the package. I saw the package. I absolutely loved it, and it was sold to me.
Definitely. And what can people expect if they haven't watched you in the amateurs? What can they expect on April?
They'll expect speed, a lot of speed. Smart technical boxing with a bit of spite. I'm working on that spite element. Don't get me wrong, when I'm in the ring I'm kind of a different person, but professional boxing is different. It's different to amateur boxing. I'm aware of that. So the work I do now in sparring on the bag is slightly different, slightly a little bit more adjusted to that. How much damage can I deliver to my opponent? It sounds a little bit sinister, but that's the sort of mindset shift I'm going through at the moment.
No, definitely, but that's the way you've got to be. You've got to be the nice guy outside the ring and the spiteful inside the ring. And one fighter who is now your stable, won't want to get onto Steel City Gym, Dalton Smith, is exactly the same. He's the nicest person in your life, but when you watch him in the ring, he's as spiteful as anything. You see his last performance. I mean, how has it been blending in with Grant Smith, Pierce, and the whole Steel City Gym as well?
It's been fantastic. These guys, you mentioned Dalton Smith, you've got Mick Connolly, you've got Junaid Boston. These guys are experienced professionals. It's something that I need. I get so much information from them when I'm sparring, and on top of being seasoned professionals, they're nice guys, and they speak with me with care. Like, they want to be able to improve me as a fighter. I know with them in my corner, with the likes of Dalton Smith and Grant Smith, I know I'll go all the way.
Definitely as well. I won't keep you too long, Delicious.
Yeah,
Final
no problem.
two for me. Obviously, you have a prestigious amateur career going into the pros. Obviously, that'll give you loads of experience. Obviously, sometimes you can leapfrog some of those levels because you've got that background fighting the best. But what was the one fight in your amateur career that you learnt from the most?
I have two fights actually, and those two fights are the ones that I've lost. The first one would be the one in the World Championships. I boxed a guy from Uzbekistan, and it was fairly early in my amateur career, but it was the world stage, and I boxed against a guy who's actually a gold medalist at the Paris Olympic Games as a heavyweight. And the biggest thing I learned there was boxing is more than just being an athlete. There's a skill, technicality part of it, and I know it sounds simple because you could even pick that up from the ABAs, but there's something more that I picked up from that international circuit against somebody who was a true seasoned amateur boxer. It was the footwork, it was the head movement, it was so slight. Boxing is a game of inches. And that was one of the biggest things I found and experienced during that fight. The second lesson I've learned from amateur boxing was my last fight. I set myself a minimum target in the Olympics, which is to get a gold medal, a bronze medal actually. That was my minimum target. I couldn't get anything less than that. So, when I didn't get it, when I didn't achieve it, it completely devastated me. And one of the biggest things I learned from that is you know, in my career over as an amateur, all I thought about was that Olympic gold medal. So as a result, the present moment slipped away from me. You know, I was winning tournaments, I was doing, you know, having so much experience, but I didn't live it, because for me, that moment wasn't important. The important moment was to get a gold medal. I will never be able to get that Olympic gold medal again. And I look back after that fight and I was thinking, literally, that on that night, and I was thinking all these years, it was about 6 years of just dedication, and, you know, almost felt like it was wasted because I wasn't able to get what I wanted to get. So one of the biggest things I learned from that was never depend your happiness and fulfillment on your external. Work as hard as you possibly can, focus on your internal, and you can never be devastated or heartbroken by the external result.
Definitely as well. Obviously, I remember being a Joshua Dubois fight week, and I got a nice little clip of you talking to Anthony Joshua that I shared around and things like that. I mean, when you've got the heavyweights on the table as well, but a fighter like Anthony Joshua who kind of essentially followed in his footsteps as well, and obviously, like you said, you were devastated at not winning the gold medal. And AJ's obviously gone through kind of those downsides as well on the biggest scale. Have you ever confided in him? Have you asked him about kind of dealing with those types of things?
To be honest, in that aspect, never ever really spoke about it. We actually did share. So that moment when Dubois sort of what was it?
The open workout.
Open workout. That's it. We did share. He did actually share that frustration with me about the loss. He said he watched it. He feels gutted for me, but he literally told me that's just the game. That's just the game that we're involved in. So I felt that boxing is hot. It's funny with boxing, you know, like at the end of the fight, you'll have a person who's on top of the world, and you have the person who's a complete rock bottom. There's no in between. But that's at the same time why I love it so much. It makes me feel alive, and that's why I'm a professional boxer. Is that feeling of being alive? I genuinely feel like if it wasn't for this sport, I probably would be doing something else amazing. But this is something. This makes me feel alive.
Definitely, there's no sport like it. Delicious, my final one, and it kind of bleeds into this. We ask everyone who comes on the channel this: when all's said and done, what does boxing mean to you?
What boxing means to me? Boxing. What boxing means to me. I'll tell you. I'll be honest. It allows. I'm able to find myself in who I am, the true core of who I am. I ask myself questions every day. Do I want this? You know, when the training is so difficult, when you have to wake up at certain times to train, when you can't eat certain things, you got to go to sleep at certain times. You consistently ask yourself your question, and you always go back to your core, which is, I want this. I need to stay true to myself. I'm doing the wrong thing if I'm, out late or whatever. And boxing takes me back to that. So I'm trying to put it in a nutshell for you. Boxing to me allows me to find my true self.
That's perfect as well. Delicious Orie. I'm very excited to watch your professional debut on April the 5th, mate. Best of luck, and catch up soon.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Nice one.